Mayer Amschel Rothschild started his career in a cramped, isolated alleyway in Frankfurt, Germany. In the 18th century, Jewish residents here were heavily restricted. They were barred by law from owning land, farming, or even trading in premium goods like weapons or fresh fruit. So Mayer began by trading what he could: secondhand textiles. Trading used clothes offered terrible margins. Mayer quickly realized he needed to move into higher value markets, pivoting his business to deal in antique items and rare gold coins. Mayer leveraged his reputation for shrewd trading to become a court agent, the 18th century equivalent of a stockbroker. This position gave him access to high-level clients, like Prince William of Hesse-Kassel. This diagram maps out how Mayer managed the prince's gold purchases. He would use borrowed money to buy the coins himself, then immediately sell them back to the prince. By acting as both the buyer and the seller, he captured an 8% commission and a price markup on a single transaction. By the late 1700s, this strategy made Mayer the wealthiest man in Frankfurt. But keeping a massive fortune consolidated in a single city was dangerous. A centralized financial empire is an exposed target. One localized war or a single political shift could seize his assets and wipe the family out overnight. To protect his capital, Mayer engineered a massive geographic dispersion. He kept his eldest son in Frankfurt and dispatched his other 4 sons across the continent, setting up operations in the capital cities of Vienna, Naples, Paris, and London. Before his death in 1812, Mayer gave his sons a final directive. They were ordered to put the unity of the family above any individual ambition or personal dispute. By scattering across borders while acting as one cohesive unit, the Rothschilds created history's first truly decentralized, multinational financial network. This geographic expansion ensured that no single government could destroy the family's total wealth. The London node of this network was operated by Mayer's third son, Nathan Rothschild. Arriving in the early 1800s, Nathan stepped directly into the white-hot center of the Industrial Revolution and the unmatched maritime power of the British Empire. He started aggressively, pouring his initial capital into the booming textile industry. He supplied raw cotton and dye to manufacturers, then bought back the finished goods to sell, extracting profit at every step of the supply chain. To ensure those goods made it to the continent despite wartime blockades, Nathan built a highly effective smuggling operation for textiles and precious metals. Nathan upgraded the network's logistics by establishing a private infrastructure of couriers, well-trained horses, and carrier pigeons. This allowed information to move between European capitals faster than the official dispatch riders of sovereign governments. Armed with advanced knowledge of market movements, Nathan cornered the foreign exchange market. When the British government needed gold to fund the Duke of Wellington's military campaign against Napoleon, Nathan used his continental smuggling routes to secretly transport massive quantities of bullion directly to the front lines. The family's advantage was the bandwidth of their network, their ability to process critical information and route capital across international borders faster than any state-run system. That network architecture faced a severe stress test in the 1840s. Following a string of French economic failures, the national economy neared collapse. James Rothschild's Paris Bank was pushed to the brink of total insolvency. Across the English Channel, the London branch, now run by Nathan's son Lionel, faced a choice. Cutting ties and letting the Paris branch fail would have protected London's balance sheet and eliminated their exposure to the French crisis. Instead, Lionel structured a massive loan from London to bail out his uncle's institution. He took on significant risk and financial loss to inject liquidity directly into the failing French node. Subjugating individual greed to preserve the collective network acted as the ultimate hedge against systemic collapse. By bailing out Paris, London ensured the entire family protocol remained intact. As the 19th century ended, the balance of global power began to cross the Atlantic. The United States was rapidly industrializing, and a formidable new financial player emerged in New York, the House of Morgan. This photograph of a littered stock exchange floor captures the aftermath of the Panic of 1893. The U.S. railroad bubble burst, triggering a severe depression. President Grover Cleveland refused to abandon the gold standard, and the federal government was days away from entirely depleting its national gold reserves. J.P. Morgan realized that a federal default would be catastrophic for his own empire. To raise the required liquidity, he tapped into the global Rothschild network, leveraging their massive European bullion reserves to jointly secure 3.5 million ounces of gold for the U.S. Treasury. The Rothschild network remained dominant by becoming the critical financial infrastructure that rising superpowers relied upon to survive a crisis. The 20th century unleashed a level of chaos that capital could not solve. The outbreak of the World Wars engulfed Europe in trench warfare and massive casualties, tearing apart the borders the Rothschilds had operated across for a century. This photograph of German troops marching through Paris captures the destruction of the family's continental network. As Nazi Germany conquered Europe, the Rothschilds faced intense persecution. Family members were forced into exile, and their European banking assets and properties were systematically seized. Despite the obliteration of their branches in Frankfurt, Vienna, and Paris, the London node survived the collapse of the European empires. The decentralized topology of the family business allowed the entire system to endure catastrophic damage. As long as a single node survived, the family possessed the foundation required to rebuild. In the modern banking era of the 1980s, traditional banks began chasing aggressive expansion, public offerings, and complex derivatives to maximize immediate profits. Sir Evelyn de Rothschild fiercely defended the family's absolute ownership of N.M. Rothschild, refusing to dilute the network to compete with publicly traded megabanks. Today, the Rothschild enterprise operates by leaning into its original ethos: extreme discretion, elite project financing, and long-term asset management over immediate market share. The Rothschilds effectively achieved financial immortality by playing an infinite game. Their structure prioritized the endurance of the family network over short-term expansion, allowing them to outlast the very empires